In a previous video, I did a Gothic window, and now I'm going to do a Gothic door for you. And this image here is the reference image, and if you're interested in doing this, you could just take a screenshot of that. I don't think I can get much closer than that for you. Alright, so if you want, you can take a screenshot. I'll also upload this to the Zero Bio Discord and put it in the references channel, but it's a little hard to navigate that thing. You have to scroll way down to the bottom and you can find this image if you don't want to do a screenshot. Alright, but it's really easy to model, so we'll model it in this video, and in the next video we'll do some textures and I'll show you how to create this. This is basically what we're going to be making, and I've got sort of 3 examples here. Okay, this will be textured in Substance Painter. So if you're interested in that, let's get started here. So I brought in the reference image and I scaled it twice just in case you get the original reference. And I've just moved it down so that my 3D cursor is kind of right there. And I figure we'll go with that. All right. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to bring in a plane. So Shift A, Mesh Plane. Go into Edit Mode. Scale it down a little bit, and I'm actually going to move it over here pretty much right where that break is. And I'm just going to scale it like that. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to press E to extrude and pull up, and I'm going to curve from there. So I'm going to Shift A, actually Shift S, cursor to selected, and I'm going to press N for the side panel and come to View. And right down here where it says 3D cursor, I'm going to grab the X and I'm going to hold down Shift to move a bit slower, and I'm going to put it right about on the edge there. We're going to try this. I'm going to scroll my mouse wheel down to this pie thing, the spin tool, switch this to Y and grab either of these and just pull and see how close it lines up. So it doesn't line up very nicely there, so I'm going to take this thing actually and I'm going to press GZ and I'm going to move it down to there. I think I want to do it from there. So now I'm going to box select there, and I need to get the whole face actually. So I'll select that face, and we'll bring the 3D cursor back to there. Let's try this again. So the 3D cursor is there. I'm going to hold Shift. I'm going to move it over to here, and let's try spinning from that position. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to actually push a little further than the Z axis because we're going to cut through that. But before I click anything else, I want to open this menu here and I want to change the steps. I'm going to go with 20 so it's relatively smooth. Okay, we can close that. We can press N to close that and come up here to there. So this is the piece we have, and that was the way to do it, I guess. All right, so what I want to do now is I want to go back into object mode, Shift C. That'll bring the 3D cursor right back to the middle, and we're going to cut this. And the way I'll do that, just like the Gothic window, Shift A, Mesh Plane, bring in a plane, go into Edit Mode, Rotate Y 90, and then E to extrude and extrude it out. You have a big cube there. I'm going to slide this up along the Z and just make sure I'm cutting through this, and I am, so that's good. Double check that everything is facing the right way. It's blue. Good. So I'm going to take this and do a Boolean on it. So find your Boolean, leave all the default values and just select that. And you can see it's cut. Okay. I'm going to apply that and I can actually get rid of that. I don't need it anymore. I'm going to come in here and I want to delete this face, X faces. So that's good. And now we can mirror this to the other side. And we'll just see how that looks. Looks okay so far. So what I want to do is I want to come in to my model here, and I'm going to look in wireframe, and I've got a cut right about there. That's good, pretty good. I could grab it in wireframe, pull it up a little bit more if I wanted to be a bit more accurate. And what I'll do, I'll go back into solid, is I will 3 face selection, Shift Alt and click this. Let's separate that out. P, separate it out. So I've got that piece. It'll be the same on the other side. And now we can just come into wireframe. Let's go 1 for vertex selection. Box select there, or border select. And we can pull these all the way down to here. And we will go X faces, get rid of those bottom faces. So we won't need those. And we really won't need any of the faces in behind as well. So we're going to do, let's do this. Let's come in here and select that back face and just think about the thickness. I may want to thin this out a little bit, so I'll select it all and scale in the Y. I don't need it quite that thick, but that's fine. I'm going to select that face and delete it. I'm going to select this face and let's actually isolate this stuff here. And I'm going to, let's get rid of this sort of problematic edge. Let's see if we dissolve that edge, how much it'll change. It hasn't really changed anything, so that's fine. So let's just get rid of this face, hold down Control, click that face, just the back ones, X faces. That's good. And yeah, okay, just want to see what I got going on down here. I've got something going on here, I guess. Here, let's go into this thing here. Okay, let's just hide that. I've got an extra face in here somehow. Get rid of that. Bring that stuff back. Okay, that's going good. So let's do this. Let's work on something here. I want, here, I can bring back the reference image. I want a little gap here so it looks like pieces of wood, and that's going to be helped by having a bevel on there. Let's just have a look at this. I think what I'll do is I'll come into this one and border select there, just pull it down just a little bit, and on there I'm going to go F to make a face, and I'm going to bevel that in a minute. But let's come into this one and Shift Alt and click there, F to make a face. So we have a face there to bevel. So let's go ahead and let's apply the mirror on that. And let's apply the mirror on that. I mean, we'll have to bevel twice, but that's okay. I just want to come in here and have a look at this. Okay, 2 for edge selection, Shift Alt and click there. Control B, and we'll pull and have roll up so you have 3, just to round that off a little bit. So I'm going to take both of these and go into edit mode so I can bevel it all at the same time. So 2 for edge selection, Shift Alt and click, Shift Alt and click, Shift Alt and click those 2 and those 2, and then we can get the same bevel on everything. All right, so come in, zoom in, Control B and pull, hold Shift if you want to move a bit slower. Give it a bit of a bevel, Shift Alt and click there and there, and there and there, and give that a bit of a bevel. And then there's a little bit of a gap in there, and if you want to close it up a bit, we could come in here and just let's see, let me do it this way. Grab those, and GZ, and just pull them up a little bit more, just so it looks like 2 pieces of wood sort of joining like that. Okay, we'll worry about smoothing later. All right, so we're doing good so far. Let's do this piece here and this piece there. So my 3D cursor's in the middle, Shift A, mesh plane, and let's rotate X 90. Pull this down, and I'm going to pull it down. I'll go into wireframe, pull it down to about this white line here, and then get this stuff, pull it to about here, because we're going to sort of flare these out a little bit. So maybe to around there. Select the whole thing, and SX will make sure it goes into this piece here. All right, so I can move it a little bit forward. And then what I'll do is I'm going to extrude backwards in the Y a little bit, something like this. I can now, let's look from the front. I'll go in wireframe. We can SZ the back piece just to flare it out like that. And now we'll X faces to get rid of that. And we'll have to get rid of that face there. And inside here, there's another face here. We'll get rid of those 2 faces, and let's just have a look at that. Okay, that's okay. Let's take this piece and Shift D to duplicate, pull it down, go in a wireframe, sort of line it up with this bottom piece. That's fine, but we're not going to need the flare out at the bottom. I'm just going to delete those vertices, and let's see if that worked out the way we want it to. And we can just pull these up by eye, or we can snap them, but it's not really going to be a problem if it sort of rests on the ground. So you've got those two pieces, but we don't have a bevel on them. So let's go in here and select this edge and this edge. I'm in edge selection, and this one, just the three of them. And let's just sort of zoom in and Control B with 3, give them a little bit of a nice curving like that. All right, good. We're staying pretty true to the diagram. Yeah. All right, so now we're going to do this arched part here. And the way I figured we'd do that is we'll bring in a circle, and I'm going to leave it at the default 32, rotate X 90, press 1 for vertex selection. It's a little bit easier to see. Scale it down and just start positioning it so it looks like it kind of follows the curve. We'll have a little bit of an issue here depending on where we cut this. We may need to extend this down. We'll see how that goes. But basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut off the bottom half of those vertices like that. And then I'm going to go ahead and press E to extrude, pull it up, and then SZ0 to straighten it in the Z. And we're going to come up to about there, like that. And we can add a mirror just to see what it's looking like so far. Okay, so that's okay. Like I say, we'll work on this in a bit. So let's turn on clipping and press 2 for edge selection. Select that edge, and let's press E to extrude and just pull it in, and it'll hit the other one. And I'm not quite happy with the thickness of that yet, so maybe I will squash it in the X just a little bit to pull this out just a bit. And this part's still, I think, okay. Maybe I can pull it to the left a little bit just to line up with that a bit better. All right, so let's start thinking about this piece. Let's take this and slash key to focus just on that, and let's come in here. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to select this edge, hold shift, keep selecting edges like this, and I'm going to X edges, get rid of those edges, and then I'm going to apply the mirror. I'll just merge by distance just in case, and let's select this edge as well and get rid of that, so we have this piece. F to make a face. Let's go back. So it's one big crazy end gone there. Let's take this and pull it out a little bit and then extrude it back. Actually, before we do that, might as well get rid of these vertices, and then that way we won't have all those edges. So just hold, select one, and then hold Control and select the last one, X, dissolve vertices. Okay, like that. And now we can extrude back. We can X faces. We're going to get rid of that face. Now I just want to have a look at how it joins, because we can do a little bit of tweaking on this. Okay, so the first thing we can do is we can select this back edge here, and we can just pull it out to sort of match the diagram. So we now have that angle there. And let's see what we can do. See the way this arch comes in? It doesn't quite go over this much here. So how can we do this? I am going to suggest that we fiddle around with this. I'm going to suggest we border select there and pull these down a bit. We can always pull them up. Just pull them down like that. And then let's go into this one here. And let's border select all of these. And let's maybe let's pull them down, let's pull them down like that. So now our arch goes in. Maybe we'll pull these ones up a little bit. So yeah, often happen here. I'll go ahead and solid GZ or Z, depending on how you say that. Let's select these faces here, and let's extrude them down. like this, and then we'll adjust the position. Now I've got an edge here, and what I want to do is I want to dissolve that edge. So I've got just that. I think I'm going to take this and maybe we'll scale it in the Y a little bit thinner. And I just want to make sure that it kind of goes into this one in the front. And it is looking okay, so let's just border select there. Let's pull it down into the bottom one. X faces, in case I had faces there. How's that? Not bad, eh? By the way, how are we doing here? Okay, very good. And now we're going to split this off and put a sort of a, let's get that whole thing, break it out. And let's just focus on this. And I want to delete the back, and I want to delete this edge. Dissolve that edge. I'm going to get rid of the back. We don't need that. We're not going to need any bottom on there. Okay, good. Okay, fine. And we'll slash key to look at that. And maybe what we'll do is let's have this split at the same level as these. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn on snap to edge, or we'll get it close anyhow. And Shift Alt and click that edge, get the whole thing, and let's pull it down and hold Control over there to sort of snap to there. Okay, let's F to make a face. We'll come back to that in a minute. Let's look at this one here. In fact, maybe I will go ahead and I'll bevel this one right here, just so we can get a better sense of this. I'll bevel the edges in a minute too. Control B, pull, do something like that so you'll see it a little bit better. Now let's come into this one and border select that. Let's pull it down a little bit. Let's go F to make a face. We're going to need a face there, and we're also going to bevel that, so I'll just go Control B and pull. And we can make it closer if we need to, but it's just roughly in line there. Okay, and now we're going to select both of those, slash key, and I want to get rid of some stuff here, so I see an error here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to delete all of this stuff. I shouldn't have done it that way. So we'll get rid of all of this stuff and that side face here. We don't need that. Sometimes I'll make some mistakes. It's okay. And then I've got that, so I can go back in and let's just in edge selection select that, and let's extrude backwards a little bit like this, and then pull it up to get that angled thing. Okay, that's better anyhow. Actually, while we're here, let's go ahead and bevel this. Control B. Okay, so it'll look like that. And let's take both of these and slash key. Okay, that's better. We've gotten rid of back faces and stuff, so now we're going to bevel the edges of this. So let's come in and Shift Alt and click that. Shift Alt and click that. And do I have both of them selected? I've got to go in edit mode for both of them. Let's do that again. This one and this one. Yeah, there we go. Okay, Control B. There we go. All right, so those are the main pieces for that. I am willing to go ahead and start joining these pieces as long as there's no mirror. All of that, Control J. We can now come in and go merge by distance, M, merge by distance, just in case. I did get rid of a couple vertices, that's good. Should always be doing that. And then we have a little bit of stuff in here to deal with. So let's do that. We'll just bring in a new plane. Okay, rotate X 90. Pull that down. I could scale this in the X till it's there. I'm going to look in wireframe and scale it in the Z a little bit. Okay, well these actually are, so let's just go in and Alt N recalculate outside. Sometimes it'll texture nicer actually as 2. I'm going to drop an edge loop in there and maybe I'll look at this. Let's Control B, roll back to 2, and just get rid of this middle piece here, and see if it still fits. Yeah, I just now have 2 pieces, and so I'll come in here, and let's see if I select all that and scale in the X just to pull them apart, so each one fits into a space. Okay, well, there's more to do now, and that is a central piece. And so the way I'll do that is, let's take this edge and Shift D to duplicate it and pull it down, P to break it out, and we'll build it off of this. And what I'm going to do is just pull it up to around the curve. Let's come out a little ways and then come back a little ways. In fact, let's just look at this like this. Okay, so I've got that like a stairway almost. Okay, I'm now going to press E to extrude, pull down a little ways, E to extrude, come back a little ways. So that gives me 2 steps. I'm going to do another step. I'm going to press E to extrude, come down, E, come in, and then I can adjust those distances if need be. So this is what I have, and it's got to go in behind this piece a little bit. And I see that I need to take this edge and pull it in, so we're not seeing the door. Yeah, that's better. And what about on this side? Let's just do that. Okay. Let's take this whole piece and push it back even a little bit more, so we see sort of the bottom of the step on this thing. Okay. And then very simply, we will come in here and select that edge, and this edge. This one does run all the way across, whereas these pieces are separate, so it doesn't really matter how you do it. Control B and pull to bevel. There's 2, 3, and I probably need something in here, just a gentle bevel. Can't hurt to create that. But you know what? I wonder if I scale it in the Z to make it a bit more prominent and pull it down a bit, just as a little bit bigger. I'm really not looking at the diagram, but that's basically the thing that we're talking about there. Okay, so all this is going to be wood here. Let's just hide that. All that is going to be wood. So let's just come over to the materials and create a material called wood. And let's make sure that it goes on everything. And I can take that and join it to this. And I can also take this piece and join it. And so all of this is wood. And once again, I'll just merge by distance to be sure. And we'll Alt-H actually and slash. We'll bring everything back. Okay, the last thing we need to do is some glass kind of stuff. So let's see about if we can, in vertex selection, select a vertex in there, or you know what, let's just do the edge. Shift Alt and click that edge. Shift D to duplicate, pull it out, P to break it out, and we've got this. And let's say we take the very last vertex there, and we'll E to extrude, we'll pull it down like that. We'll scale Z 0 because they're not even, and then select it all with a F to make a face. So we got like a pane of glass in there. We'll just push it in. Okay, and let's see if it's flipped. It is. So come in, Alt N, flip, and let's mirror that to the other side. Okay, let's go ahead and call this not wood. This is going to be glass, so delete that and call this glass. And we'll do a similar thing up here. We just need to get like the contour of it. Just select something like that. Shift D to duplicate, pull it out, P to break it out. Take this and F to make a face. And let's just go into wireframe and see that's, I don't need that much. Let's box select, border select. Let's get rid of all that. And actually, I probably will have lost my face, so F to make a face. Now we can pull that in as well. And if we want these at the same level, we can just focus on them. And I've got snap to edge on, and I'll just move this and sort of use my control key to snap to that. Is that one flipped? That's the question. No, it's not. So we got those and that. We can join that. Nope, this one has a mirror on it. I'm going to apply that mirror. And we're going to join those. You could join it all together, but you don't necessarily need to. And the final thing we'll do is we'll select maybe right here, bring my 3D cursor there and bring in a UV sphere. I'm going to switch this to 16 and rotate X 90, scale it down. It's right in the middle. We'll go into wireframe and we'll just slide it over and sort of match that size. It may not be exactly the same. Okay, let's pull that out. Press 3 to look from the side. I'm going to squash this SY like this. Notice I'm in edit mode when I do most of this stuff. Press 1 for vertex selection. Select that one. Control plus to expand the selection. There's 2, 3. I'll go 3 times. Shift Alt and click this. E and S. Bring it in like that. And then E to extrude. Pull it out. And we'll just need to Shift Alt and click there. And we'll need to bevel in order for the smoothing to work properly. And that's okay. If we want, we can bevel here. It's not really that necessary, but yeah, let's just leave that. Push that in, something like that. And we can work on selecting the wood and shade smooth. And I can add on there a weighted normal and normal's auto smooth to fix up the shading. That's all I need from this. I'm going to delete that. And we have this. Just before I move it, let's make a material for this and call it metal. Really, it's kind of dumb to make 3 different materials. I could do it as one thing in Substance Painter, just mask. But this is the way I've got it. So let's just move all of that up to here. And there is our basic door. Let's just double check everybody. Yeah. And have a look with it, you know, different mat cap. Check it out. Yeah. The question of if these pieces are too far back, if they should come up, but I think it's going to be okay. So in the next video, we're going to very simply unwrap this and apply some textures, eventually going for this kind of texture. All right. Thanks for watching and good luck with your Gothic door.